How many times did they actually, her poking Caitlin Clark in the eye? And that really had me thinking, like, damn, how many times did they actually, drop the ball and didn't call stuff against Caitlin? Now, Caitlin got called for a technical for hitting the back of the backboard, but somebody viciously clotheslined her. We're not getting a call for that.
The WNBA referees are out here acting like they're hosting a comedy show because the way they're calling games on Caitlin Clark is pure circus. Fair calls? They wouldn't recognize one if it knocked them over. One moment, Clark's getting tackled with zero whistle. The next, she barely reacts and gets hit with a technical. But here's the real plot twist. The bias isn't just obvious. It's now exposed. The receipts are in, and what they reveal is nothing short of embarrassing. Buckle up. This agenda is unraveling fast.
They need to be investigated ASAP. We see what's happening with Caitlin Clark. There's no reason you shouldn't be protecting your star player. Because without Caitlin Clark, there won't be no sold-out arenas.
The WNBA refs must have thought they could just cruise into a new season like last year never happened. They really believed no one would clock the way they treated Caitlin Clark like she was just some extra in a pickup game, while everyone else got the VIP whistle treatment. If another player got glanced at funny, boom, foul. But Clark? She could get tripped, slammed, or straight up body checked, and the refs just stood there like they were front row at a Broadway show, completely unbothered.
I don't want to see none of the calls being missed like we seen last year, bro. These referees have to get it together. Now, we know the Indiana Fever front office did everything they had to do, put the right pieces around Caitlin Clark, make sure they make it far in the playoffs, and possibly get a WNBA championship. Well, that part is done. We got a new team, we got a new coach. They got everything they need to do to take off for the 2025 season. The only thing left is these WNBA referees. This need to be talked about, just like it was supposed to be getting talked about at the conclusion of that season. And I'm back on a bumper, bro. I am not letting up on them damn WNBA referees because they are the biggest haters.
It was like the refs were following some secret manual called How to Never Call Fouls for Caitlin Clark. Opponents were out there testing their WWE finishers on her, and the officials just shrugged it off like, she's tough, she'll survive. But let Caitlin so much as breathe near another player. Immediate whistle. Technical. Free throws. Somebody better call security, because apparently, exhaling in the WNBA is now a flagrant foul if your name is Caitlin Clark.
The offensive fouls are definitely surprising at times. I feel like I do get held.
She sold this flop perfectly. I gotta tip my hat to it. Had her hand on her chest. Most people who flop, they always do the little face thing. And she sold it perfectly. I gotta give it to her. Here's like a play from a different game. Watch Caitlin's reaction.
Excuse me, they got it on Caitlin Clark.
She wanted to really call out the ref.
There were games where Caitlin took hits so brutal it looked like she was auditioning for a stunt double in an action film. Arms flailing, bodies crashing to the floor, defenders treating her like a human bumper car. Meanwhile, the refs were just staring at the jumbotron, acting like it was nothing more than good defense.
The viewership on TV would not be like it is now, where everybody's watching it because it's must-watch TV. But we are seeing how she's being treated. She's being pushed around, she's being slapped around, sometimes she's being punched around, and the fouls just keep getting harder and harder.
And let's talk about consistency, or rather, the complete absence of it. One game, a defender can hip check Caitlin into another time zone with no call. Then the next, some random role player gets their shoelace stepped on, and the refs come sprinting in like lifeguards at a pool, whistle blowing and all. The double standard was crazier than a rookie trying to guard a veteran in the post. But the best part, the refs never bothered to explain a single thing.
You have to be great as a ref. You have to be consistent. You have to. It can't be inconsistent. It can't be AAU refs.
No accountability, no acknowledgement, just pure gaslighting. Caitlin would get hit harder than a quarterback in the pocket, standing there looking for justice, and the refs would be halfway down the court, acting like they didn't hear a thing. At this point, she needed to bring a body cam to games just to get some proof. And let's not forget the time she was called for offensive fouls for doing nothing more than existing, dribbling, cutting through the lane, or gasped looking at the basket. It was like the refs woke up every day asking, how can we make Caitlin Clark question reality today?
The referees and them not calling fouls like this one last night. Let's just check it out. There's going to be a drive down the court here, right? And we've got another clothesline from hell. This time, Marina Mabry on Caitlin Clark.
And of course, social media caught everything. The refs may have thought they were slick, but the internet doesn't forget a missed call, an obvious foul, or every time Caitlin got mugged on the court. It was all documented like a true crime episode. The WNBA got dragged so hard that even people who didn't watch basketball started asking, wait, how is this legal? The refs were so bad last season, you'd think they were flipping coins at halftime to decide who they'd punish next. And surprise, surprise, Caitlin Clark ended up on the short end more times than anyone can count. These refs weren't just bad. They were on a mission. A secret society of whistleblowers determined to make sure Caitlin Clark never had a peaceful night on the court. But now, the league is investigating them, and it's about time. Let's be real, half of these refs wouldn't even get hired to officiate a middle school game. Yet they were out here making calls like they had a personal vendetta against Clark. The most infamous example, the now legendary eye poke from DG Carrington.
She been going through the trenches this year. They've definitely been,
But you see that? You see how the hand starts out like this, and then she goes down and says, "I'm poking this bitch in the eye."
Basically.
Let's see you make a 3-pointer with one eye.
But again, that comes that goes back to that. If you want to be the greatest, you got to deal with the hate and the haters, and people that are doing dirty shots and trying to take you out. That's normal.
It's what Jordan went through, right? It's what Jordan went through
for sure.
She had a black eye.
Ah, yes, the eye poke, a moment so ridiculous it deserves its own Hall of Fame exhibit. DG Carrington practically jammed her hand into Caitlin's face, and what did the refs do? Absolutely nothing. No whistle, no review, just ignored it like it was no big deal. Meanwhile, Caitlin breathes near a defender, and the refs are blowing their whistles like lifeguards spotting a shark. Illegal screen, offensive foul, breathing too hard, technical, looking at someone wrong? Here come the calls. They never called an actual travel though, ironic considering half the league treats the rulebook like a dusty old storybook. Now the league's investigating. Finally, someone in the WNBA office actually watched the games and thought, this doesn't seem right.
Prime example, what really made me start thinking about this was the DJ Carrington situation. Yesterday, I did a DJ Carrington video kind of breaking down that whole thing, technical on that. They didn't call nothing on that for her poking Caitlin Clark in the eye, and that really had me thinking like, damn, how many times did they actually...
The crazy thing? Some of these refs might not be back next season. And honestly, that might be the best news Caitlin Clark's gotten since her first endorsement deal. Maybe then she'll finally get a fair gain, instead of being treated like she committed a crime just for showing up. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Knowing the WNBA, they'll probably just replace them with new refs who also can't stand her, just with different names. Maybe they'll even bring in refs from other sports. Imagine a soccer ref giving her a red card for flopping after she gets tackled in the paint. It's like these refs have selective vision. Clark was getting hacked all game, and they just stood there like NPCs. Kennedy Carter basically body-checked her mid-play, and the ref said, "Play on." Meanwhile, if Caitlin so much as exhales on defense whistle. And the best part, that flagrant foul didn't even get called in the game. The league had to go back and review it later to finally admit, yeah, maybe that was a foul. You think?
We saw the play in the third quarter where Carter kind of decked you. How do you respond to that and stay within yourself?
I feel like I'm just at the point where you accept it and don't retaliate. Just let them hit you. Be what it is. Don't let it get inside your head and know it's coming. I think at this point, I know I'm going to take a couple hard shots a game. It is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
When are the refs going to do their job? As a matter of fact, when is the WNBA going to do their job? Because there should be some suspensions, check. There should be some fines, check. And you should be setting an example for your star player. Because God forbid this young lady gets hurt.